Hello. Welcome to our class today, class 4. And although these classes have a cumulative effect in how we feel and the energy that we have inside of ourselves, each class should have some energetic effects also. Not like drinking coffee, taking you really high up, or taking a rest, a nap, and sleeping, but something more in the middle. And today we're going to practice breathing exercises. We're going to practice a yin posture, holding the pose for a few minutes, and then a little bit of flow too to move the energy around more actively and more heat in the body. So if you have blocks, get blocks. If you have books, use books. Maybe you won't need them or want them at all. We'll begin seated. A comfortable seat. A seat with your eyes closed. An alert posture. And an inward focus. Breathe through your nose, connect to your breath, connect to how you're breathing today. Maybe this is the first time that you're noticing your breath, your posture, your state of mind. Take 5 breaths here through your nose. Feel the temperature and the quality and the location and the strength of your breath. Not forcing it to be any one thing, but allowing yourself to observe your breathing with curiosity, with openness, with no judgment. Our breathing exercise today is going to be sniffing our breath in. So imagine breaking your inhale up into 3 or 4 parts. And you're going to breathe in through your nose, sniffing your breath in, and pause, and then sniff in more, and then sniff in, filling all the way up, and if there's space, fill up the rest of your lungs into your collarbones. And then exhale out the nose or out the mouth. And we'll do that several more times, probably not following my rhythm here. You'll follow your own rhythm. So you're sniffing in 3 or 4 times to achieve your full inhale. Breathe in a little bit. A little more, a little more. If there's space under the collarbones, fill it in. And exhale out your nose, your mouth. Continue. Breathe in, breathe in, Breathe in. There's more space. Breathe in. Exhale. Take 5 more. Continue for 4 more. If there's at any point feelings of lightheadedness or dizzy, let the breath go and breathe normally through your nose. Letting the breath go entirely so that you can breathe in forcefully. And take 1 more. Hand on your heart, hand on your belly. Release. Gently open your eyes. Release your hands. We'll come on to hands and knees, and maybe you'll want your blocks here. You're going to step the right foot forward and come into a low lunge, a yin style low lunge. So we're going to be here for at least 2 minutes on this side. So I tuck my back toes under to protect the knee, or you can have the top of the foot flat. My hands are underneath my shoulders so that I can relax my shoulders down. So I can relax my shoulders into my hands, into the blocks, into the floor. The floor is supporting us here so that we can very gently soften the hips. You don't have to go as deep as you can possibly go here, but situating your body so that you do feel some release into the floor through the right foot, through your hands, through the back knee. Some of you won't be doing this with the blocks. Your hands will be on the floor, and some of you who have blocks would prefer to have the blocks upright more, and lifting your chest more, and softening the hips forward more. And if you do have blocks, I encourage you to experiment. Even if your hands touch the ground, there's lots of different sensation that we can feel by changing the positions of our blocks. The blocks don't mean that we're taking an easier posture. It means that we're changing the target location of the posture. So even if your blocks are up high and you're lifting your chest, feel how that feels in your left hip compared to having your elbows on the blocks and leaning forward and dropping your head. That is to say that all of those variations are acceptable, are beautiful, are perfect, but we're here to find the best posture for ourselves. Even hands on the ground or hands on blocks, and dropping your head and dropping your hips is perfect. Let your breath be normal, natural. Breathing in through your nose, and out through your nose. This is one of our more active yin postures, where it does take a little more support from the body to stay in the posture. The right knee over the ankle, the shoulders over your wrists, to help prop the posture up. So notice the area of your body that you might need some support and some activity, and then try to relax everything else. So taking the tension out of the parts of your body where you don't need it. Take 5 breaths. Last breath, you can exhale out your mouth. And then we'll release to our hands and knees, maybe stretching the right leg first, and then bringing it back. You can keep your hands on the floor, or you can come upright and step your left foot forward. And most likely the posture on this side will look something like the posture on the other side. Starting with the back foot, is it tucked under? Is the top of the foot on the floor? Notice how that also changes where you feel the stretch in your right hip. Your blocks non-existent or on their baby height or middle height or top height. Or maybe you do one and then the other one for a minute and then changing the positioning of your upper body. You can be more upright, lifting your chest. You can be more in a forward fold, but we're not really changing the position of our legs all that much. Once we find the legs in their position, we staying in the legs. And in these types of postures where we're here for several minutes, it's a perfect opportunity for breath focus, for body scanning, moving your awareness around the inside of your body, noticing where it feels good, where you're holding, where you're gripping, where you're letting go, where you feel the stretch. A million different things we can bring our awareness to within our own bodies. And the psoas, the muscle that we're focusing on in this posture, is really important for our posture, our upright position, our mobility, our energy. And we'll take one more breath here, inhaling through your nose and out through your mouth. No rushing as you relieve yourself of the posture, maybe moving your hips back for stretching the left leg and then bringing it back. And you can remove your blocks. Most likely not going to use them again, but you can always have them close by for whatever you like. Spreading your fingers, coming into tabletop, coming into cow pose and lifting your chin and lifting your chest. And exhale, coming into child's pose, pushing your hips towards your heels. Coming into cow pose, arching your back, lift your tailbone and your chin. And exhale, come into child's pose, rounding through the back and pushing your hips towards your heels. Do 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Last one. And we'll come back to center and come up onto our knees. Excuse me. You take your hands onto your sacrum. And the tops of your feet can be down, or just like in our low lunge, you can tuck your toes under and start to push your hips towards the front of your mat. And that doesn't mean collapsing in your shoulders or collapsing in your low back. Do the opposite. Feel like your spine is a tree growing out of your hips, growing out of your pelvis. Lift your chest. Bring your elbows a little closer together. And then come upright and sit back onto your heels and tuck your tailbone to release that back bend. And we're going to flow a little bit here. Bring your hands onto the floor, Knees onto the floor, tabletop, even, stacking. Come into cow pose as you breathe in. And exhale, come into child's pose. And as you breathe in, lift your arms up. And as you exhale, bend your elbows out to the sides and press your hips forward. And inhale, come to center. And exhale, bring your hands down. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, come upright onto the knees, arms over your head. Exhale, bend your elbows and press your hips forward. Do that 3 more times. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, hands down. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, lift your arms. Exhale, bend your elbows, press your hips forward. Inhale, arms up, ribs in. Exhale, hands to the ground. Follow your breath. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, camel pose with the arms in cactus. Inhale, pull everything back up to straight. Exhale, hands down, mindfully. Last one, inhale. And exhale, child's pose. Inhale, knees down, arms up, gaze up. Exhale, camel your body. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands down. Inhale to cow pose, tuck your toes under. Exhale into downward facing dog. Lower your knees, inhale, cow. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, cow. And exhale, downward facing dog. Stay in downward facing dog. Adjust your posture so that you're not too long, not too short. That you feel length, but also strength here too in the triceps and the thighs. Bring your feet together. Lift your left leg and open your hips to the left. Push down into your hands. Imagine your body in a long line from your hands to your leg. Bend your knee. Inhale. And exhale, step your left foot forward in between your hands and lower your knee. Lift up, interlace your fingers behind your back, and they can stay right at your low back. Moving your elbows back, or you can stretch your arms back towards the back of your right knee. More active here than the first time that we came into this posture. Press into your left foot, open your chest more. You can look forward or you can look up. Exhale fully, bring your hands down. Step 2, plank pose. Breathe in. And exhale, lower to your belly. Inhale, come into cobra pose. Soft elbows, bringing your chest forward and up. And exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your right leg and rotate your hips open, right hip on top of the left, and pushing into your hands, pushing through your arms, lengthening through the right side, lengthening through the right leg, bend your right knee, and then step your right foot forward and bring your left knee down. And come up to a low lunge, this time more active. We're pressing a little more firmly into the right foot. Interlace your fingers at the low back, and you can move your shoulders back and gently press your hips forward, or you can lengthen your arms back and let your hips naturally sink forward a little. Breathe. Feel your heart open, your hips open. It might not be so smooth. These aren't areas that we spend a lot of time in the day opening or stretching. As you exhale, bring your hands down and step to plank pose. And lower to your belly. And inhale, come into cobra pose. And exhale, come into downward facing dog. You can stay in downward facing dog, or you can rest in child's pose. You can separate the knees. Or remain in downward facing dog. Take one more breath. And exhale, lower onto your knees, or come up onto your knees if you were in child's pose. So we're going to take camel pose again with the hands on the sacrum. So something that we can do with the hands on the sacrum is have the fingers facing down, and imagine that your hands are pushing your pelvis into posterior tilt, and they're pushing them forward a little bit. So using your hands as important tools in this posture to take yourself from rotating forward to rotating back, and then push your hips forward. Maybe you feel this very slightly, but slight is good enough. Stretch out the front of your body. Lift up out of your knees. Lift your chest. If you can hold onto your heels, you can bring one hand back and the other, but not compromising the position of your legs and your hips. Chin to chest or throat open. Slowly come up. Sit onto your heels. Tuck your tailbone to release the muscles in your back, to release your spine. You can bring your chin to your chest. Breathe in and out. One more short flow. Bring your hands down. Step to plank pose. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out and lower yourself to your body. Maybe lower your knees first. Inhaling into cobra pose. And exhale into downward facing dog. Lift your right leg. Open your hips. Bend the knee. Take a breath in extra. And exhale, step your right foot forward. Left knee down. Maybe use your block or your hands outside the left knee, and lift your right arm and lean your hips forward and lean your right arm back. So without the block, you can have it on the floor, or you can have it on your leg. Coming into an asymmetrical camel pose, kind of lifting your hips, lifting your chest. Then slowly release with control. Come up with a breath in, come up with a breath out. Bring your hands down, plank pose, inhale. Exhale, lower to your belly. Inhale, cobra. Really working the spine. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift the left leg. Open your hips. Bend the knee. Step your foot forward. Lower the right knee. And come up. And you can use your blocks, your books. You can lean over to the right side and put your hand on the floor and lift your left arm. Or you can take your right hand to your leg and open up. Hips very, very gently, softening forward. Lots of length through the left side. Use your breath in to come out of the posture. So as you breathe in, release up. As you exhale, come into child's pose. Please take your time and come on to your back. hugging your knees in. Taking a neutralizing twist, bring your knees down over to the right and your left arm over to the left. On a breath in, legs to center. As you exhale, bring your knees down over to the left. Right arm reaching over to the right, and then resting on the floor. In the center, place your feet on the floor, align your spine, your tailbone, all the way up to the back of your head, and then slowly release your legs to the floor. Relaxing your whole body. Relaxing the back of your head and your shoulder blades, and the backs of your arms and backs of your hands. Relax your whole rib cage. Your hips are heavy. Your thighs are unclenched. Your legs are soft. Start to deepen your breath, inhaling and exhaling. Start to move your body, waking up, an energetic stretch. And then make your way to seated, hugging your knees and rocking yourself up. Notice how you feel after you practice. What's the difference between now and 30 minutes ago when we began? What does the body feel like? What's your mind feel like? Are you connected to your breath? You feel a bit more energized. And bring your palms together and honor your heart, honor your dedication, honor your intention. Namaste.